Alright, today's video I'm going to tackle replacing the rotor on a Grand Caravan. Fairly easy, straightforward operation. I'm going to keep the video quick and simple. If you want to find out how to take off your caliper itself, changing the brakes, I got a separate video for that, so I'm not going to bother videotaping all that nonsense. So I'll at the end of this video, I'll have a link to doing that job. And if you don't have a Dodge Grand Caravan, most of the vehicles with front disc brakes go on about the same, and same with rear disc brakes. I'd say probably 80% of them mount like this. So let's get started. Okay, observe all safety procedures. Get your car up on jack stands. I just leave the hydraulic stand in place just as an extra safety measure. Like I said, I'm not going to cover anything about the actual brakes themselves. It's only going to focus on the rotor. Got my caliper off already and floating, or suspended, so it's not dangling by the brake hose. You'll notice that at that point the rotor is just floating in place. It's held on by the wheel, pressure of the wheel bolted against it, but you can't take it off because the bracket that holds the caliper is in the way. Now, very easy job to do. It's just 2 bolts, but you're not going to get it off with that. You probably won't get it off with that. What I am going to use is that breaker bar, and this is I think it's a 2-footer, so that's what you want to use. And in this case, it's a 21mm socket. There's a bolt right up there, bolt down there. I think it's 21. Well, I don't have a 20mm, so it'll have to be 21. And we're going to have to break those 2 bolts, take those 2 bolts off. Okay, once you break the bolts loose, then you can switch over to a standard ratchet to get those bolts backed out the rest of the way. And after that, bolt comes out, bracket comes off, and the rotor will come right off for you. And then we're going to take a wire brush, some brake cleaner. We're going to clean the surface off all around there. We're also going to clean off one here, and we are going to clean off the mating surfaces here. Okay, rotor is in place. I got 2 hands, so I'll just do a mock-up here. That's going to get bolted in place as the next step. Okay, from what I can find, the torque specification on these bolts for the Grand Caravan is 125 foot-pounds, which, in order to get some clearance, of course the car's on the jack stand, put the hydraulic jack underneath the control arm and lifted it up a little bit to give me some room to get in there with the torque wrench. 125 pounds, well, the vehicle's on the ground, you're not underneath it. A little harder to get leverage. And the rest of the procedure is listed in my front brake pad replacement. Just as a note, if you're replacing the rotors, you should, unless it states otherwise in the manual for the rotors, some of them are coated and they say do not use cleaner on it because the coating that's on there is designed to help bed the new brake pads into the rotor. These have a powder coating on the surface, but this is a milled surface, so I'll use brake cleaner on that to clean that off. But never put new rotors on with old brake pads. Always start with brand new brake pads with new rotors, even if those brake pads are just 3 months old, because you have all these ridges and valleys that are in your old rotor, and they will cause ridges and valleys in your brake pads, and those ridges and valleys will get cut right into your new rotor. So always go with new brake pads if you're putting in new rotors. And that's it. I will have a link taking you to my other front brake pad replacement videos, so if you need that information, that'll be available for you. And if you found this video helpful, Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.